I'm Annette DeLuca. I work at Mischler's at the greenhouse, and I'm responsible for sowing the seeds, and we're going to show you how it's done. Machine's title is the Little's Seeder, but we just call it the sowing machine. This is Baptisia seeds. Different seeds take different size needles for the machine, because if you use a needle that's too big, the seed will get stuck in the needle. And if you use one that's too small, it won't pull up the seed. This is our smallest needle, and it's a very, very fine needle. Compare that to this one, which is one of our bigger ones. Put it on this plunger. We blow air through it to make sure it's not clogged up. So this is how we put them into the machine, and we just twist it on there nice and tight. These little orange ones are spacers for where there are no holes for the seeds to drop. Before we put our seeds in the machine, I'm going to blow off any dust. Take a 288 cell tray. We're going to fill it with pre-dampened soil. It's pre-dampened so that the soil doesn't fly out. Make sure all the cells get the even amount of soil stick to smooth it out. And that's how that's done. This is where our tray of soil goes in. It feeds right through here. And if you can see this little gadget here, it moves and it will catch the tray and it'll push it along each cell. It'll move it forward. Our next step is to put the seeds in the machine. This is our seed tray. It vibrates, keeps the seeds from sticking. Now what this machine does is this arm will come up, pick up a seed, and drop it into each of these holes. This tray will vibrate, and this arm down here is a dibbler. What it does is it goes up and down as the tray comes through it, and it makes little divots into the soil for the seed to fall into. There's a trigger. You'll hear it double click. As the tray hits it, it'll push it, and it'll click the vacuum for picking up the seeds. Here's the double click. There's the seeds. Now that the seeds are sown into their little cells, we're going to cover them with the soil. Certain seeds need soil for germination to be covered. Others do not. Others need more light. This particular variety needs a light coating of soil. We're going to put some soil on it. We're going to moisten it, and then we're going to put it in a germination chamber. And I have some soil that's been dried out that we're just going to sprinkle on top. And then we're done. I'm going to put tags in, make sure that we know which are which. We have a misting nozzle on the hose so it doesn't come out real heavy. We'll give it a nice light watering. And that's it, ready for the chamber.
I'm Mark Yaden, Vice President of Mischler's Florist and Greenhouses here in Williamsville, New York. Annette has sown a tray of Baptisia seeds for us here. After they're sown, they're put into a germinating chamber, which is behind me here. This chamber gives the seeds the right environment for germination. What we have is a heated chamber that has hot water in the bottom of it. It's controlled by a thermostat. We set these chambers from 60 to 80 degrees, depending on the variety of seeds what we're trying to germinate now. This particular chamber is set at 75 to 80 degrees, which is good for the seeds that are in here. So we place the seeds in, we seal it back up, and it'll automatically keep them warm until they're ready. Generally, Germination takes between 2 and 8 days, depending on the variety of seeds that we're trying to germinate. We have some that are ready to come out now of this chamber. I have some Edelweiss. These seeds are very small. And to be able to tell if they have germinated, I use a hand lens. I take this hand lens and I find a seed in the particular tray, and I look for the root to become emerging out of the seed. This is hyssop. The roots have emerged out of the seeds, so these are now germinated. These have to be checked daily because in one day these will start stretching. And if we don't get them out on the right day, just right after they're germinated, they'll stretch, and many times they can be unsellable at that point. When a seed germinates, the root comes out first. If you've seen leaves on the plant, on the seed that's germinated, then it's probably too late, and that can, again, cause them to stretch and be unsellable. The quality won't be as good. Okay, now that the seeds have germinated in the chamber, we'll bring them over onto the mist bench. This bench is a heated bench. There's actually bottom heat here underneath the trays. We'll set these out. There's also misters that come on automatically to add humidity to the bench as well. So from here, the plants will not only continue to germinate, but they'll also start growing. And here, they'll put on their first leaves, which we call cotyledons, and then after that, these will all come off and go on to the growing benches. From the mist bench, they're put onto the growing benches. And from here, they're taken care of for a period of 6 weeks to 2 months. And here the seeds grow into the cells until they're large enough to transplant. The plants are now ready for transplant. From the plug tray, which holds 288 plants, we transplant them into our flats. These hold 48 plants. So the plants are taken out of the cell, well rooted, ready to go, and then just one plant is put into each cell of the flat. We then put the tags in each one. One tag goes to each cell pack, so that when the customer picks out that pack, they'll know what it is and how to care for it. Once they're transplanted, they'll stay in the greenhouse another 4 to 6 weeks. We'll then harden them off by cooling them off outside so that they will be ready for our perennial sale.